Welcome to Community Connections with Children's Services Council of St. Lucie County. I'm your humble host, Sean Boyle, with me is
Ashley Mock.
And welcome to the I got to be honest with you folks, this is my second time doing this in 2026. I apparently forgot the name of this show.
We took one break.
Welcome to this show that's all about connecting the listeners and viewers, obviously, to resources and things that are available in our great community we call St. Lucie County. Now, we at the Children's Services Council, first of all, I just also remembered, because I'm totally out of sort, we have to give a note of thanks to WLX, St. Lucie TV, the public schools channel, who allows me to screw up openings multiple times, including the one that's going to go live. But we're so grateful for that partnership. And believe it or not, we've been recording this show for, I believe, 10 years.
It's more than
wow.
20 years. I don't know. We're making numbers up. But if you're ever bored and watch TV the way that I do, go on YouTube or find your cable provider. But I urge you to go to YouTube. Look up WLX St. Lucie. You can find this TV show that goes back 10 years when Ashley was 12 years old. But also you can find all the other great programming that's done through St. Lucie County Public Schools. And they do have great programming.
They do have great programming.
Including this one, which is all about connecting you to resources and things that are available in our community. Now, we at the Children's Services Council, we've made this very clear. We are not media professionals. We don't know what the heck we're doing. But what we do at the Children's Services Council is we focus on 5 priorities. And those priorities are: 1, making sure every baby's a healthy baby. 2, stopping child abuse before it happens. 3, keeping kids off the streets. 4, keeping them in school. And 5, keeping them off drugs, alcohol, and other risky behaviors. And we focus on those by funding and making available programs on all 5 of those categories that are available to all children and families in our community.
Yes, and
I got that part right. I'm going to leave now. Actually, the show's the rest is yours.
That's it, you're done. 2026 energy is just really high today.
Wow.
So on this show, we typically introduce you to some of those funded program partners or other community partners. But we've got a great guest today. And if you've followed us for a long time, like Sean mentioned, you can go back and see. This is almost always, our first guest for the year. So I'm excited about our conversation today.
Are you jumping to the guest already?
No. It was just foreshadowing.
Because we cannot do a 6th take.
It was just foreshadowing. No, but we do a lot on this show. Part of our mission in the community is to connect all of you to the resources and the programs that are available, and that's what we talk about here. But there are other ways that you can get connected with us too. One of those is obviously on our website at cscslc.org. We have a list of all of our funded program partners there, along with their contact information. But we also have this lovely printed guide to programs that Sean has brought as a prop today. This is a very condensed version of that information, but this is also available on our website and available in English, Spanish, and Creole. So you can get connected to all of the programs that we work with in the community, or share that information with someone that you know and love.
I think there's a little bit of irony here. I couldn't remember the name of the show and how to start it, but I came equipped.
You did.
So I want to have credit for this one.
So many props
Look,
today.
we not only give information, we try to make this entertaining. We realize that's a subjective term. Also, we just released, if you're interested in, we joke, we're working on our annual impact report. It's going to be out probably at the end of this month.
There's ghosts today.
But we also publish something twice a year. This is the end of the year, our program accountability report. So when we talk about funding children's programs, we fund currently 52 programs, but in this report it's 54, and it outlines kind of everything, a description of the program, the funding amount, their amount spent, whether they met their outcomes in regards to the number of children and families they served, as well as their outcome or impact performance. And we do this because this is just one form of our accountability, not only to the community who helps make Children's Services Council available, but also to our programs and to us. And really, it's also a great way to celebrate success, because I believe, if I correct me wrong, one of our metrics is at least 85% of all the outcomes will be met in our programs, because we work with our programs to make sure that they're successful. I believe we came in around 88.
We did.
88%. So that's high kudos to all of our funded programs, and they're represented in here. And this is available for download on the website as well.
That it is. And step 2 of that will be our annual impact report, which will be coming out soon. So we'll share that with you when it's available as well.
But wait, there's more. For $9.99.
You brought so much today.
We also do something. We also are. We're big on making sure that our programs are up to date with, capacity, knowledge, and we do a lot of trainings and workshops. We do have 2 ongoing workshops that anybody can attend, and we highly encourage you to do so. I don't know if our viewers can see, but hopefully the power stays on during the show. But one of them, I'm going to go in chronological order. Chronological order?
Yeah,
or
that's
words
right.
I'm making up. On the second Friday of each month at 9 a.m. at our offices, if you enjoy coffee, we got you covered. But if you want to learn how to write grants, you want to learn best practices in grant writing, and let's face it, if you run a nonprofit, you got to know how to write grants. It's just part of the business, part of the revenue stream. We do something called Coffee with the Grant Writer with Innovant Consulting. Jody Riley, we provide the grant writer, and Jody Riley, we provide the coffee. You come for the knowledge and get your questions answered. Again, second Friday at 9 a.m. And then we also, this is relatively new, we also do something called Brewing Leadership. On the third Friday of the month, we again provide the coffee.
We really like coffee.
Yeah, there's a theme here. And clearly I had too much caffeine already. We provide the coffee, but we also provide an expert, a good friend of ours, who actually we're going to hear from here in a little bit, to talk about best practices and really concepts of leadership. And it's a little bit different approach because, and this is why I like it so much, is you can read tons of books on leadership. They all give you frameworks, but until you know yourself and how you want to lead and how you show up, those frameworks really don't matter. That's what this one's all about. It's the third Friday of the month. Jessie is our facilitator. And because you're a leader, we're not starting at 9 a.m. It starts at 8 a.m. because the early bird catches the worm.
That's right.
All right.
Leaders wake up early. And then, because one of the other things that we like to do on the show is tell you about fun things that are coming up in the community. We are excited for the third time. We are doing family movie night with Treasure Coast Park and Watch, which is our drive-in movie theater. If you did not know, we do have a drive-in movie theater in Fort Pierce. So Saturday, January 24th, we are hosting Bad Guys 2, which if you haven't seen it is very cute. It is a very good movie. So admission is free, and that is for your car load. And if you have children with you, they will also get a free book related to the movie that night. It's part of our celebration of National Literacy Week, so we encourage you to come out. It is just first come, first serve. There is more information on the Treasure Coast Park and Watch website, but it is a good time. And Sean will be there directing traffic.
Yes,
so
I was going to say.
Please come for that.
When you, fun fact, when you sponsor one of these, they give you an orange vest and say, hey, get the cars in there. And it's fun, sort of.
Yeah.
And you may be thinking, well, why is the Children's Services Council hosting a movie on Literacy Week? But we're giving you the book.
That's
and
right.
it's the enticement to get the kids there because they're all going to be excited about the movie.
Right.
And they're going to be even more excited when you give them a book.
It is a
and
good
it goes
time.
along with the movie.
Promise.
And by the way, if you've never been there, great snack bar. Just saying.
Good
They
to
do
know.
have a good snack bar.
Good to know.
All right. Oh, before we go to our guests, I do want to say for those of you that came to our Sounds of the Seasons concert, it was December 19th. It was a great time and it was a full house, and we are very grateful for everybody that showed up, not only for the event, but to support our kids because they were a rambunctious, highly engaged audience. We're grateful.
They were. That's a very good way to describe them. It was a lot of fun. But no, we do have a great guest today, and as I sort of mentioned at the start of the show, we typically have started the year with you. So I feel like we've grown up.
There's consistencies.
Yeah,
There's the
some.
ball drop.
Some.
And this program being on our first program of
That's
the year.
right. Well, really, Sean and I, if you've watched the show, you've recognized over time that we use this as our own therapy. And so maybe that's why
wholeheartedly.
we've brought Kim on at the beginning of every year. That it's by
Shock
design.
therapy.
But we've got Families of the Treasure Coast with us today, Kim Eardley and their CEO, and she's brought a guest that I'm excited to talk to today as well. But, you know, I think as a parent, we feel like the new year is like this new start and this new time. And then, like 2 weeks into the year, I'm like, nothing's new. Nothing's changed. That's it.
I have
Same old,
I have a theory on this.
Do you feel that way?
Well, you know, and
Am I the only one?
I think my social media feed knows that like maybe my January didn't start off the way I wanted it to, because it's all sending me stuff like January is winter solstice, and you're supposed to be resting, and you know the start really should be in the spring. And I think it just reads my mind, and it knows that I haven't met any of my goals that I set forth so far.
Oh, I don't know.
Spring renewal. I think that's a good idea.
I'm here for that.
Right?
I like that. So, okay, so let's back up a little bit. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I got us off track. I'm
This is a
sorry.
weird show, in a good way.
I'm already diving into my
This is how
problems
26 is going to go for us on this show.
today. Okay. So, talk to us share with our viewers about Families of the Treasure Coast. You guys have
Would love
now been around for a while.
10 years.
Oh my
I've been
gosh.
doing
10
this
years?
10 years
Wow.
now in that position. Can you believe
Congratulations.
it? Thank you. I was 12 too.
I just say you also started in middle school, clearly.
Exactly.
Love that.
I was 60.
Love that.
Yes.
So talk to us a little bit about families and what you guys are doing now.
So Families of the Treasure Coast exists to build that bridge with families to school and to be that community partner that provides parents support, training, education. We want to be that trusted resource for parents. We have several programs that fit children of all ages and fit families of all sizes and families we know all dynamics. But again, everything we do is free, funded by the Children's Services Council. And we really want to make sure that we have healthy children in our community. And the best way to ensure we have strong, healthy children is make sure we have strong, healthy parents. So we have a lot of great programs in the community for kids. There's not a lot for parents. And I feel like at this time, and I'm going to introduce Jessie a little bit, parents need to feel support and connection. And I think that's one of the things that's really missing is connection. But we are an agency that is mobile so that we can be anywhere in St. Lucie County. We have our workshops spread throughout St. Lucie County, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about those that are coming up. But the intent being that we are where the parents are. So we can be in your schools, we might be in somebody's home, we might be at a local community center. But we have these programs where parents can reach us and have access to them.
That's awesome.
You know, at the Children's Services Council, you know, we're going to release our impact report, and we talk about 66,000 children that we touched, impacted through our programs, which is a big number, by the way. But really, to effectuate any consistent change, it can't just be the child alone.
No.
It's got to be the parents, because, you know, you can do all you want with the child, but they're going to return home, and if that change and if that positive reinforcement isn't reinforced, let's see if I can't use that word another time in the sentence, isn't reinforced at home, it's really for naught. And that's really where you step in.
Because any change is practice. You're not going to actually absorb the knowledge or use the knowledge if you don't practice it. So if the kids go back home and they've learned a skill that maybe the parents don't know, the parents may be doing the same things they've always done, and the child's not going to have a chance to practice that, right? But over and above that, if I can say, parents also need to help with their own communication. And how do you build that relationship with your child of trust? How do parents reach out in that way? And that's one of the things that we work on really the most is communication. Because I think every parent wants to be a great parent. No parent starts out and says they want to be a terrible parent. They all want to be great parents. And for the most part, we all are great parents, but we make mistakes. We make mistakes, we have issues, we have our own emotional issues. Stress, what parents aren't stressed in this day and age, right? So we talk about how you might handle that. What does that look like in your family? How do we work through those things with your children? And I'll get into the programs a little bit more, but I think just being that support and educator for parents is really impactful.
I think, and just, this is the last commentary I'll
That's
make.
okay.
And I think actually you and I have had these kind of conversations, and I'm curious if you two can relate. You know, when you grow up, you know, when you're a child, you think your parents, they're the experts, they know everything, right?
Right.
And then you become an adult and a parent, and probably around, you know, 30, 40, maybe 50, you realize, oh, my parents were winging it just like I'm winging it.
Right.
And so how great is it to have a resource that kind of not only pulls together knowledge, but also pulls together peer support as well,
Right.
so that you realize that you're not alone.
And that is so important, because I think most parents want to know that. And most parents actually are, I'm just going to say, scared to go to any kind of parenting classes because they don't want to be told how to parent. They don't want to be told how to live their life. They don't want to be told anything. And so that's what we don't do. We are there in a non-judgmental way. We're there to hear, you know, what's your experiences, and other parents can share their experiences and learn from each other that way.
It's really good. So I know you've mentioned a couple times that you have some programs, and I
I do
know
wanna
we
talk
want to
about
talk to
those,
Jessie
yes.
about some of those
I
programs.
don't want to run out of time.
Don't want to run out of time for that. So talk to us a little bit about what you do offer to the community
Excellent.
and how people can find more information.
So we have programs for parents. The Parent-Teen Community Connection is our flagship program. That one works really with the parents and the kids together. And the goal with that one is that the parents will learn communication skills. Well, first let me back up. Values. We always start with values. And that's important because a lot of parents don't even take the time to realize, what are your values? And then they don't understand that kids don't learn values by osmosis. kids really need to be shown and led by example. So we help parents understand what their values are, how to communicate to their children through those values. We also work on self-esteem, body image, social media, things that our parents really don't sometimes feel equipped to handle, or how to talk to their kids about it. And then on the other side of that, we work with the kids on what effects are you having through peer pressure, through bullying, social media. What images are you getting? You know, how do you feel about yourself from social media? Again, focused on that concentration. The parents and our communication. The parents and the kids are split up. And then at the end of the sessions, we bring them back together, we talk about the activities, and then they usually go home and practice those skills, and then come back and tell us how it went. So that program lasts about 4 to 8 weeks for the parents. We have redirecting children's behavior. That's a 4-week, one time a week. That one really focuses on how do you positively impact the behavior of your children? What does positive discipline look like? How do you understand why your child is behaving a certain way? That's important too. Childhood development. So all of that is in these classes. So we have redirecting children's behavior, secrets of modern parenting, parenting community connection, and then we have our PEP program, which is where I want to talk to Jessie and introduce Jessie. I call her Dr. Jessie. Yes.
My elbow.
But recently, the PEP program has been in effect for about 6 years now. One of the things we noticed with the PEP program, it's a great framework, amazing framework. It was really not drilling down into the emotional pieces. And just like Sean just said, the leadership pieces. When they were taking the leadership, they were doing great things, but it still wasn't working on the inside, right? To be a great leader, we got to be great on the inside. And that's where we brought Jessie on board. And Jessie, I'm so excited, is going to be doing our PEP classes beginning the end of January. So I'm going to introduce Jessie Ferreria now.
Well, first I want to say thank you so much. That was an amazing overview of your programs, and I don't know how I can actually go above and beyond that. But so I'm partnered with Families of the Treasure Coast to facilitate the PEP program, which is, to your point, a very strong program. We're just coming in, ASQ Empowerment Services, to bring coherence into the mix, which is what, again, to your point, you alluded to. I wanted to go back to what you said too, Sean, when you talked about frameworks. So I've studied lots of frameworks, I learned a lot of theories, and the frameworks are great. They're all great. Frameworks are important, right? Having structure. But when you don't understand your internal systems, when you don't understand your feelings, your emotions, and what you do and how you show up, when those things are not working cohesively or coherent, that's where the friction begins. And that's where we step in. So to Kimberly's point, that's what we're doing, is we're bringing that coherence and that structure and the leadership tools to help enhance what is already a strong program. Because, I mean, it's amazing, and I know that you were going to share a little story in a little bit here, but yeah, that's what we're doing, and I'm excited about the partnership.
I'm very excited too.
I'm super excited about the fact that, one, it's being in partnership with you, and then having the support of Children's Services County of St. Lucie County, and having this program be offered free for people, removing that barrier of access, right? And that exclusivity for people to have access to this really important information.
I think it goes back to the stress too that our parents are under.
Yes.
Because if they have the skills that Jessie's teaching, it really helps them regulate their own emotions and their own stress. And it's really a great tool to have, because I'm not the only person in this world that gets stressed. You can't tell me that we're not all functioning in some state of stress. Right. And I think Jessie really helps you understand that and how to regulate that as a leader.
Yep.
I want to go back to one of the comments that you made about establishing first the values of each family. And I think that's so important, because I feel like sometimes as parents, we don't communicate that to our children well, and or maybe not in a way that they understand. And so they do something that goes against beliefs that we thought we had communicated to them. And then it's a very different conversation when you consider the perspective that maybe they didn't know that I thought that was a bad idea, or that, you know, that's not something that we believe in, or whatever it is. But I think that's so interesting and such a good place to start from, to make sure that the family, like as a unit, is on the same page.
Exactly,
And
definitely.
all moving in the same direction.
And just to piggyback on that, I think that it's also important for parents to understand that as the child develops and grows, their values develop and grow. And it's very important to let them have those values and understand them. And that's where the communication part's important, right? If their values are growing and maybe they don't see things the same way you see them, you've got to be able to communicate and how that's different and what that looks like. Because they can have different values. It's just you have to understand what your values are in your home and what your expectations are.
Yeah.
Well, and I think about like the parenting community connection, and just, you know, I'm sitting here thinking, you know, we have probably 2 or 3 generations represented here, but we also have a lot of grandparents that are raising children.
Oh, definitely.
And when you talk about, when you were talking about social media, I was thinking about my wife. You know, I'm like, this is how you navigate your phone. How long have you had this phone? But then I'm thinking now with the advent of AI, I can imagine it's getting even wider,
Yes,
right?
it is,
So
it is.
as a parent, you really kind of have to stay on top of that, or at least
Definitely
be
do.
knowledgeable about it. And then, you know,
And the impact it's having on your child. I think
Yeah.
parents really got to understand that part.
and then, you know, I think about, you know, I was going to ask you, like, who's best for this class, and not this class, but all the services that you provide. But the easy answer is if you're a parent, right?
Adults.
Because because when you
Adult
talk about
individuals.
stress, you know, I don't know a parent who doesn't have some type of stress.
Exactly.
And it's not a fault of the parent. It's just it's
It's
tough.
life.
Yeah,
It's hard.
it's
It's the
life.
hardest job you're ever going to do.
It
And
is.
also trying
Thank
to
you
meet
for saying that. Yes.
meeting expectations that are unrealistic. It's a lot of pressure, and it's a lot of pressure to show up and think that I have it all together, when inside we're like, oh my God, what am I doing? You know what I
Right.
mean? And so that's the beauty of these programs that Families of the Treasure Coast has.
And the kids feel this pressure too.
Oh yes.
I should really talk about that because we work with teenagers and they are under a lot of pressure.
Tremendous.
They have pressure and expectations at home. They have pressure at school. They have pressure with their sports. And a lot of times they don't know how to regulate all that.
And the relations with their peers. And,
yeah.
you know,
Really, yes,
yeah.
kids, and that's one of the things a lot of parents don't understand because they often think, what has he got to be stressed about? I'm the one that has to go to work. I'm the one that has to get up in the morning. You know, I'm the one that has to, but children also have their own stress.
Yeah, it's navigating all of those relationships.
Exactly.
I like that you answered that the programs are for any adult, because even
Any
if there are
adult.
not children in your home, Sean's children are grown, but like you have a basketball
Doesn't mean
team.
parenting stops,
No,
by the way.
not at all.
No, it
Not
doesn't.
at all.
I got
Never
a test
stop.
for that.
But you
Son,
have
don't watch right now.
you have a basketball team that
Yeah.
you're managing of, you know, young boys, and so regardless,
You see my heavy side?
yeah. Regardless of what your role is in the community, you're interacting with children
With a child, yes.
all the time.
Yes.
So talk
And
a
you
little
never
bit.
know the impact you're going to have on a child.
Oh,
you
for
could be
sure.
sitting with them, let's say in a movie theater, not knowing them, a stranger in the movie lobby, and maybe a child comes up to you for whatever reason it may be. You are now a responsible adult
Yeah.
that can intercede, right? All children are kind of our children, is the way I look at it.
Yeah. So you talked about all the different programs and obviously different timelines for each one.
I did forget one.
You did, but
Okay.
we'll revisit that.
Okay.
But for, you know, it's a lot. So
It is a lot.
for somebody that's maybe interested in one specifically, where can they find the best information?
Thank you. So the best way to get a hold of the information would be the website. So it's www.familiesoftheTreasureCoast.org. Or if you hit Google and type in parent help, we come up number one.
Well done. Well done.
Good on you.
Well done.
Awesome.
But we also have Facebook, which is Families of the Treasure Coast. We have Instagram, Families of the Treasure Coast. You can text us at 772-302-3147. And that is a mobile phone that I have on me, or Kinley,
All
my
the time.
assistant, all the time. So you can text, you can call.
Can you repeat that number? The only thing I've ever learned in broadcasting in our little 10-year time is when you give phone numbers, you got to go slow.
772-302-3147.
Good job.
Yes. So one of the things I did forget, and I want to go back over real quick, the parent warm line. We've had that for about 5-6 years now. And it is in place for parents who are having maybe some kind of crisis in their home. And by crisis, I'm saying the child's not behaving, they've lost their end, they don't know what they're gonna do. Maybe they need just help with, I don't know, finding light bill help, or maybe they need to find a resource in the community. Our parent warm line is to help just for that. And they can call us and we will connect them to those resources, or maybe we'll just talk them off the ledge. I had this happen on Friday, 7:30 in the morning, the phone rang, and the mom was just in tears, just bawling her eyes out. I could hardly understand what she was saying, but she had a current truancy problem with her daughter. The daughter was refusing to go to school, and she really didn't know what to do. She did have the daughter in the car. They were on their way to the school when she got us on the warm line. Now, she was not a client of ours. She had just Googled and found the parent warm line. And she had a therapist for her child, but the therapist is not responding at 7 a.m., right? But we responded. So I talked to her, and we talked about different options of what she could do that morning. I said, do you want me to talk to her? And she was like, no, maybe not talk to her. And so you always let the parents be in control, right? She didn't want to give her name. She didn't want to give the school's name. So I gave her some options. I said, maybe a good idea, why don't you just drive to the school, walk into the office, and ask them if they could help you. Maybe they have somebody that could come out and talk to her. Maybe there's a way to resolve it that way. So she hung up the phone, and this was after us being on for about 30 minutes. Everybody calmed down, and I did go, first thing I said to her obviously was, let's just breathe. You're gonna be okay. And often during the call I kept saying, you know, you're a good parent. You're a good mom. Because she needed to hear that because her stress was so high. She did get her daughter in school. Went home, I called her back just to check on her. She was so much more relieved. By then she had a new appointment for one of our other organizations for her daughter, and she had just, it really helped her because she had to be at work at 9 and she was in a frazzled state and getting concerned about how she was going to get to work. So when I did talk to her, she was in a much better state. And she said thank you, and I felt that morning, I was like, oh, the parent warm line works. I did a great job.
Well, but you brought up a good point too. Like, you know, our parents, our only job is not raising our children. So it might be the most important job that we have, but she had somewhere to go.
She had to be at work.
And who knows what her interactions would have looked like for the rest of that day if she was still concerned with what was happening with her daughter. So you alleviated multiple problems.
Yes.
And I also liked, and I mean, I know you, Kim, I know you were going to say this regardless, but you let her know that she was a good parent. And the reason why we all knew she was a good parent, she
Because
cared
she
enough to find that number and make that call.
Yes.
Exactly.
Because that's the biggest obstacle.
Exactly.
And you know what's important too is that people, in general, people don't know what they don't know.
Yeah.
And so when they call somebody and they're desperate and they're looking for help, telling them that they're doing a good job, even especially when they feel like they're not doing a good job, is just this stabilizing sort of aspect that you come in with, you know? And I think that's the beauty of all of these programs in general, is that you are connecting them with that internal knowing, because there is that knowing. They know that they're good people and that they want to do the right thing. And so that's the beautiful part.
And they need to be reassured.
Absolutely.
We all need reassurance sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, as we wind down here, I mean, if you're a parent, you know exactly what we're talking about, right? Like, you know, there's that joke, it's from some movie, you know, I can't remember, like, you need a license to fish, but anybody can be a parent. And it doesn't come with a manual, right? So.
And our parents have made great friendships in the class. We had two dads that recently took the class, and in a role playing, they got paired together in a role playing, and I thought, oh, this is not going to go well. But it went so amazing that they became friends afterwards, and they've stayed in touch.
That's awesome.
So give out your website and your phone number as slow as you can as we wrap up.
All right. familiesofthetreasurecoast.org, or you can call us at 772-302-3147. And you can text us also, or hit us up on Facebook Instant Messenger, Instagram Instant Messenger. We are everywhere.
Smoke signals.
So, smoke signals, yeah.
All things.
Yeah.
I cannot
Because
think.
that is my mission, right? That's my personal mission. That's the organization's mission. Parents need help. We're here to help.
I cannot think of a better way to start the new year, even with the rough start that I gave it. Thank you, Kim, Jessie, for coming on. Families of the Treasure Coast, Google them. They're search engine optimized. We want to thank you for tuning in 26. We'll clean this up for the future shows. But just a simple reminder, again, that it's our children, our community, our future. We're all in this together, folks. We'll see you next time.